What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Locks DFS NHL Breakdown. I am your host, Narang, and I'll be breaking down this 4-game main slate on DraftKings and FanDuel for Wednesday, March 27th. Before I get into that, though, if you guys could go ahead and leave a like and comment on this video, not only would it mean a lot for me, but you will be entered into our weekly giveaway that we run every single week on YouTube, where we just like to give back to our most active viewers, watchers, members. So all you have to do is leave a like and comment, and we have our notifications on, so we always see who's leaving likes, who's leaving positive comments or constructive criticism comments. Doesn't always have to be positive, because we're always trying to get better. So if you guys just leave comments, we take note of that, and then every Monday we give away a free season pass to someone who's been commenting and leaving likes. So go ahead and do that to be entered into that giveaway, and let's get right into this slate. So usually we jump in with centers and the high price centers, obviously. And looking through this slate, I mean, we have it's a short slate. Obviously, it's only 4 games, and we have 2 massive team totals at 3-9 with Toronto and 4 for Boston. I agree completely with both of those team totals. I think those should be your priorities when you're building a lineup tonight. And I think if you just look through the high price centers, the top 3 guys are from Toronto or Boston. So I'm going to spend a bit more time talking about the high price centers is what I'm trying to get at, because there's not too much I like in this low range anyway. I think my general feel for the slate as of 1 p.m. Mountain Time would be to pay up at center and use some of this wing value, because there's plenty of that on this slate. So I think I'll spend a little bit more time talking about the high price centers. And my favorite of these top 3 or top 4, I should say, is going to be Patrice Bergeron. Stepping into an awesome matchup versus a really, really bad New York Rangers team. Over the last 10 days, the Rangers are 3rd worst in high danger chances against per 60, just giving up a bunch of high danger chances. And then if we filter by expected goals against per 60, they also rank 3rd. This is on the year. I like to get a little bit of a bigger sample size for this. And they still rank 3rd worst expected goals against on the year. They also have the 6th worst penalty kill. So this is absolutely smash spot for this Boston team. And specifically this Boston first line of Patrice Bergeron, Brad Marchand, and David Pastrnak. Patrice Bergeron, second on Boston in iCourse 4 per 60, which again, for any new watchers, iCourse 4 per 60 is essentially how many times a guy is shooting the puck in the direction of the net. It's not shots on goal. It's just shots towards the net. So Patrice Bergeron obviously shooting the puck a ton, 18.82 iCourse 4 per 60 on the season. Just a guy that I want a ton of exposure to. This line correlates perfectly at 5v5, obviously, and they correlate on the first unit power play with Bergeron, Marchand, and Pastrnak. Probably the top stack on this slate if you want to stack just one line, although it is expensive. Now let's just talk a little bit about those Toronto guys, since I'm not going to talk too much about the cheat plays. Toronto is interesting. Obviously, when it comes to Austin Matthews versus John Tavares, I go back and forth. Recently, I've been on Austin Matthews, though, because it's just much cheaper to stack him with his line mates. If I go ahead and filter it, though, Toronto's individual stats, we see that Austin Matthews leads them in iCourse 4 per 60 on the season by almost 3 more than John Tavares. Definitely, I mean, John Tavares still shoots the puck like crazy, obviously with iCourse 4 of 18.42, but 21.1 is just that next level elite sort of spot. And so this is the spot that I'm leaning towards Austin Matthews, as I usually do. And like I was mentioning, you can stack him with his line mates for much cheaper. As opposed to Marner, who's 6'8", you can stack Nylander and Johnson for 3.9 and 4.4 respectively with Austin Matthews. So I'll give a slight lean to Austin Matthews, but I like both of them a lot on this slate. And then I think the GPP option of the top 4 would be Nathan MacKinnon. Just getting monster minutes, like 24 minutes time on ice in most his games. That first line doesn't have Landeskog on it anymore, doesn't have Rantanen on it anymore. So he's taking a bigger shooting role on that first line. He's skating with Kerfoot and Comfer, who are more of assist men than guys that you're funneling the puck to take the shot. So gives him a little bit higher upside, but he just got a really tough matchup. It should be a high-paced game versus Vegas, but just a tough spot versus a Vegas team that is a top 5 defense in the league. So leaning Bergeron as my top option, and then probably Matthews over Tavares, but it's close between those two. But I think that's enough on center. We'll go ahead and move on to winger. If you do want a couple more cheap center plays, I like Nazem Kadri. I like the price there, 4.3K. He only skates about 15 minutes, but he's seen first unit power play time. And as you guys saw, he does shoot the puck quite a bit with the second highest iCorsi 4 per 60. So a fan of him if you do want to pay down. But moving on to wingers, so since I did spend the first 5 minutes of this video talking about high-price centers, I'll go ahead and avoid these high-price wingers and jump more into the value plays. A couple notes on the high-price wingers, though. Boston guys are my favorite. Pasternak shoots the puck more, so I'll give him the slight edge. But the price on Mitch Marner is fairly cheap. Johnny Gaudreau is fairly cheap. So a lot of decent values up here, but I'll go with the Boston guys are my top plays. But coming down a little bit cheaper, there's quite a few value plays on this slate to talk about at the winger position, and I'm going to highlight two of my favorite. The first being William Nylander. I mentioned him earlier, skating on Austin Matthews' wing. When this guy was skating on Austin Matthews' wing last season, he was in the 6Ks, in the high 5K range. So getting him at 3.9K, sort of just like an auto play for me. As you guys saw, iCorsi 4 per 60, he's fourth on the team at 17.03. The guy shoots the puck a ton. He's getting not power play one time, but he is skating on the power play 2, which is valuable time. And a good matchup. I haven't talked much about the matchup versus Philly, but it's not bad. Philly, 13th worst high danger chances against per 60 over the last 10 days, so not bad. And then expected goals against per 60, they're 11th worst in the league. So it's sort of a decent matchup, but for a team that's as a high octane as an offense as Toronto is, this matchup is certainly good enough because it's not a bad matchup. So definitely interested in Nylander and pairing him with Austin Matthews here. And then the next value guy I want to talk about is Alexander Kerfoot. Sort of in the same mold as Nylander, he benefits from skating on the wing of a guy who is just amazing, and that's Nathan MacKinnon. So he's skating on the first line with JT Compher and Nathan MacKinnon. But he's also receiving valuable power play one time with Nathan MacKinnon as well. Gives him a really, really high minutes floor for 3.7K. And I did mention that it's a tough matchup versus Vegas, but at this price, I don't really care. I just think he's a guy that, for that price, is it just provides way too much value to pass up on. So big fans of both Kerfoot and William Nylander here in the value range. So moving on to defense, just like yesterday, I'm just going to mention one of my favorite defense options, and that is going to be Torrey Krug. So Torrey Krug's been out for about a week or so now, I believe, but he's set to return versus the Rangers. I believe he's already confirmed in, and as I've talked about over and over again, this is an amazing spot. Rangers, third worst high danger chances against per 60, third worst expected goals against per 60, sixth worst penalty kill, which is really where we're targeting Torrey Krug. Obviously, he's the power play 1 quarterback. I don't think Daily Faceoff has it updated yet. They still have Charlie McAvoy here. And if for whatever reason Torrey Krug doesn't play, even though he's already confirmed in, McAvoy becomes an amazing play. But whoever's his power play 1 quarterback is going to be Torrey Krug. Once this site updates, they're always a little bit behind. So love this price on him. He's come down about 700-800 since his injury. He's got one of the higher shooting rates or one of the higher shot rates of all defensemen in the NHL. iCorsi 4 per 60, right around 15. Just a fantasy friendly guy that you want exposure to at this price. There's no reason he should be priced less than Jake Muzzin. So love him in this spot today. And then moving on to goalie, obviously you guys know I don't talk too much about goalie. I'll just go ahead and let you know that your goalie should match or should correlate with your skaters, so that if your skaters do well, hopefully your goalie gets the win. Just looking at this slate of goalies, if you do want a GPP goalie, Philip Grubauer is the guy. He's been one of the hottest goalies in the league coming into this game. Over the past 2 weeks or so, he's just been stifling opponents, and big reason why Colorado's back in the playoff picture. But he is an underdog versus a Vegas team at plus 109. That's really, really good, and I don't like targeting Vegas. But this is a spot that you saw a lot of people go to Binnington last time Vegas played, because Vegas just shoots the puck so much. So you could get one of those spike outlier games from Grubauer where he gets 40, 42 saves, and even if he doesn't get the win, he still racked up enough saves to overcome a lot of goalies who will get the win, like Vasilevsky versus Boston, who gave up 4 goals, but got the win and finished with 1.6 fantasy points. So that's enough time spent on goalie. I appreciate you guys checking out this video. As always, do leave a like and comment if you do enjoy. It's a lot of fun making these. Baseball is right around the corner, so I'll be making baseball videos as well. So I'm going to do my best to be as consistent as I can with these, although I may just have to start limiting them to some of the bigger slates where the information is a bit more valuable. So we'll see what happens with all that, though. But yeah, go ahead, leave a like and comment. Appreciate you guys watching. Hope you win a ton of money tonight, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.